The ability to vote has been treasured and fought for since the birth of our nation. So why is it that some groups are still struggling to be granted our nation's most precious freedom? Today, we are going to discuss a journey to enfranchise one of America's most controversial groups in this long-lasting battle: felons.
The history of voting rights for felons has been an ongoing fight since 1776. Within the past couple of years, only 4 states have taken complete action on taking the rights to vote as a felon, whether they have completed their sentence or not. In some states, felons, they have only taken the right to vote away until the release date, which is called automatic restoration, to re-register to vote. Then there are states such as Maine and Vermont that are holding registration for voting for those being held in prison for over 2,400 prisoners with a felony have received this. In some states, they have charges in the 14th Amendment to uphold rights from voting to a certain extent that if you have a felony, you could not be in the category of violence or murder in order to keep those privileges. This year's voting election is not putting a stop from citizens with felonies from voting in the United States, even though in 2016 that was not allowed.
The status of felons' voting rights today. While no state completely bars an ex-felon's ability to vote, there are still many challenges that prevent them from voting. Maine and Vermont are the only states that never take away a felon's right to vote, even while incarcerated. In 17 states, as well as the District of Columbia, felons are only given back their voting rights upon their release. 20 states don't allow ex-felons to vote until after their parole or probation has been finished. 11 states require additional action before allowing ex-felons to vote.
From 1607 through the mid-18th century, states decided to implement constitutions to keep felons from having the right to vote. Until the 1960s through today, the country has been arguing whether to allow most felons to vote or none at all. While some branches make good points, there are some felons that are doing their time for minor crimes, but the ones that are doing their time for the major crimes should not be allowed to vote, for they could be a threat to put the country's future at stake.
So, now that several states have loosened their voting restrictions, are felons still fighting today? The short answer is yes. The movement has gained a lot of traction throughout the recent years, yet there are still thousands of ex-felons who are currently fighting for their ability to vote. In Florida, ex-convicts are struggling to get around the new law in which a payment of court fees must be completed before they can join the polls. This has outraged many people for more than one reason. For one, this law is purely political. By keeping many felons from voting, Republicans in Florida are attempting to prevent the notorious swing state from swinging blue. The most glaring problem with this new law is that it clearly has roots in the Jim Crow era and is unfortunately misproportionately affecting African American voters. So the bottom line is, while there are going to be thousands of ex-felons voting in this election, there are still tens of thousands who are being disenfranchised, and unfortunately, it's for the wrong